What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday Summary. I am your host, Kyle. With me, as always, is Steve. Steve, a lot to get into today. The transfer window is hot and popping. Florian Wirtz signs. Quansah is going to Leverkusen. Liverpool are targeting Guehi. And Milos Kerkez, here we go. Confirmed this morning. How you doing, man?
Well, great. If you really need to know. No complaints.
I want to know.
Lots to get into.
I love it.
I didn't know if that would be the case 36 hours ago.
Yeah, 36 hours ago, it was pretty much just signing day. And that was it. That was really it. So now we're popping.
I'm excited to break down the Quansah situation.
Yes.
I think it's very interesting. And then the Guehi stuff coming out. There's a lot of other clubs in for him, and he may just stay there and leave on a free next year. No one knows. But we'll break it all down today. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, man. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm excited as well because there are multiple factors to each deal. It's not like it's just face value. Quansah's going to Leverkusen. There's a lot of moving parts with him. Also with Guehi, a lot of interesting things. And Florian Wirtz, some interesting things that I'm sure some of you probably knew. A lot of you probably didn't. I know I didn't until I read it. But a lot of cool stuff to talk about today. But let's say good morning to everyone in the chat first. We got Liz, Kazir, welcome. Doug, what's going on? Yogesh. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Make sure you leave your thoughts throughout the show in the comments section. New feature on YouTube, actually. You can get like an AI-generated summary if you come in late of the chat. I don't know how to use it. I don't know if you hit the button and it generates it or if it's just automatically there when you pop in. But definitely utilize that, guys, if you're coming in late. That way you can catch up and join the chat live. Shout out to Doug. Liz has been a channel member for 54 months. How good is this transfer window? And Liz, I don't think we've had a transfer window this, one, exciting, but two, this good since I've been following the team, Steve. Is that a hot take?
Well, were Virgil and Allison in the same window?
Oh, God. Virgil was in the winter. Virgil was winter. Allison was
summer. Yeah. So this is the best transfer window we've seen, at least in the last 10 years.
It's an exciting one.
Maybe ever, if you think about it.
I mean, it might be up there. I can't speak for, the transfer windows prior to when I started, following the team, but it's got to be up there. I mean, the Florian Wirtz transfer is really stirring up some saltiness in rival fans and some conflicting viewpoints on the price and everything like that. But when you compare it to other players that teams have signed, Jack Grealish, we talked about it last week with Mudryk or Enzo Fernandez, right? You're like, okay, this is on par. This is actually, arguably a better signing given the ceiling of this guy. But then the other side of that is his production in the Bundesliga compared to players of half the price. I think that's been a big criticism. I think it's Marmoush or one of Man City's most recent signings in, 8 less games or something produced more than Florian Wirtz did in all of his appearances.
It was Marmoush. He's a striker.
Yeah. Okay, so there's the difference right there.
Yeah.
But it's still interesting to see.
Well, they got to hang their hat on something, Man City fans, because they were rejected by Wirtz. The criticism, we do it too. We do the criticism thing too, so whatever. Yeah, I'm not bothered by it. I'm just excited that we're spending the money that we clearly have. And also, FSG just traded away their biggest contract for the Red Sox.
And let me interrupt you and touch on that because there's speculation out there that the reason that happened is because of the Florian Wirtz deal. Do you think they're connected directly like that? Do you think they're like, oh, we have to trade away this guy because we're spending, this amount on this player? Or do you think it's just a terrible coincidence?
Not necessarily, because the reports are coming out that Devers wanted to potentially move on. There was always issues with his positioning and things of that nature. And apparently there wasn't a great culture in the clubhouse for the Red Sox. So seeing that change, I think because the money technically comes from the same place, you could probably make the argument, but I don't think it's get Wirtz or trade Devers because we just got Wirtz. I don't think it's like that at all.
Neither
I mean,
do
these
I.
guys have billions of dollars, billions,
Well,
and
budgets are
what's
separate
100
too.
million in the grand
Yeah.
scheme of the evolution of a business? What's 100 million?
Yeah, I mean, cash aside, I just don't think that their budgets are all in one pot either. I don't
No,
think they're that tight on funds to where they have to take from Peter to pay Paul kind of thing. You know what I mean? I don't think it's like that. I honestly think that people are just kind of salty about it. Devers
Lyle
wasn't
says, yeah.
wasn't a
Shout out
clubhouse
Peter and
guy.
Paul, by the way, great guys.
Legends and Albert. Um,
He says Devers wasn't a clubhouse guy. I think it actually surprised me. I wasn't expecting that, but when you think about the other superstars that we had that we've let go in the last 3 or 4 years, it's not overly surprising to see them let another one go. It just seems like the league, there's a few teams in the league that are going to win it. Dodgers would probably be the favorite, right? And I read a report that FSG understands that, and if somebody's not happy and they're on a huge contract or they're not a great guy in the clubhouse, like, why hang on to him?
I think
Trade
that's
him.
universal too. I mean, look at
Trade him and start to rebuild, because like you're not going to win the World Series.
right.
So do you need to pay this guy? Like, are you going to make the playoffs? Maybe, but you're not going to win the World Series. I think that's a given.
Right.
So,
and also, I think coming off of a Premier League win, you look at Liverpool, it's like, oh, it might be worth investing 116 million in this player because we do have a solid team that's capable of winning titles. So why not add to that team as opposed to the Red Sox where, do we even have a chance? Is it worth giving Devers this amount of money? No, trade him. I think that's probably the stance they took. But
there's nothing saying that they don't go get another big player in the market that's maybe a better culture guy, because they're making other moves too, the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And they have till the 31st of July. That's the trade deadline.
So
I wouldn't be surprised if they turn around and got another $300 million contract in the door.
When is the transfer window close? Is it August or September?
It's after the season starts, I think.
Okay, so it's got to be the end of August, probably. Okay, so thus far, you got Frimpong in. You just brought in Wirtz, and Milos Kerkez as well is here we go. Deal has apparently been agreed for weeks, and last week we reported that he only wanted Liverpool, which is a good thing for us because I don't know, when that comes out, you have a little more leverage negotiating. Not like it was a huge risk to be negotiating with the left back anyway. I think it's not a break the bank kind of signing, but Quansah leaving, right? I think that one for me was surprising. We've seen all the links with Frimpong, and that's another thing too we can talk about later on in the show is how heavy and accurate the links have been this window. But the Quansah deal, I really want to touch on that, okay? Because last year, man, I could have seen Quansah as a legit number 2, 3 center back, part of the core, coming up after Van Dijk leaves. Like, I was very impressed with what he offered. How connected do you think his performance under Slot has been to this transfer happening? Like, in other words, do you think if Klopp was still the manager, Quansah would be staying? Or do you think we would have sold him anyways?
It's a great question. I haven't thought about that, but I think if Klopp was still here, I think Quansah would still be here. Klopp didn't sell players. He wanted to continue to develop guys. And I think this is interesting because it makes me think that perhaps they're making progress on the Konate deal. That's just speculation. That's just my opinion.
Great way to think about it, though, because I didn't think about it that way.
Right. I mean, it's either that, because think about it this way. They have to bring somebody else in now. You have to. There's literally zero doubt in my mind that we will sign a center back. Because if Konate gets hurt or Virgil gets hurt, who is there?
Right.
Gomez?
Ha!
And he's had 1 foot out the door for 2 years.
He might as well have had 1 foot for the last 2 years, Steve. He's always injured.
So, I mean, this makes the Guehi news pretty exciting.
It does.
To be honest.
Right?
He's English.
Yep.
He plays for the national team. And I think with the uncertainty of the Konate deal, he would jump at the chance to play for Liverpool. Because if you could be the number 2 and then just like squeeze into that number 1 role when Virgil leaves, or even be like the number 2/3, I mean, we're going to play 60 something games next year. He'll get plenty of time.
Sure.
And we know Konate's picked up knocks here and there. So you have to, it's exciting because I don't view Quansah as like a pivotal point of this squad right now. There's no doubt he could get there, and he was there. But ever since that first game of the year, it was always just like a weird asterisk next to his name. So the reason this is exciting to me is because it's a good bit of business, 30 million, 5 million add-ons, buyback clause, and you're essentially swapping him for Frimpong or Kerkez, money-wise.
Right. That's actually a very good point. The 5 million in add-ons, so it could be up to 35 million, contract to 2030. The buyback clause is big, okay? This goes back to what you were talking about with Klopp not selling players. It appears as if every player we've sold, obviously not every player, but most times are hinging like not contention, but a hinging point of the deals are the buyback clauses, right? We almost have reluctancy to sell players like, we don't want to let this guy go. He could become something great. We want the option to buy him back. I think that's a great way to do business. I really do. Because
we haven't had many players that fall into this bucket, though.
As in,
because
what do you mean?
We don't sell players that play.
Okay. So
for the most part,
you're right. So the first player that came to mind was the striker we had that went to Sheffield. Remind me of his name.
Brewster.
Thank you. Buyback clause. Somehow got 23 million for him. Unreal. Fleeced Sheffield on that. And now Quansah, 30 million. Can we just talk about the business side of it for a second? That fee for Quansah is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable fee. And to have the option to buy back, because Leverkusen appear to develop players very well. I think Leverkusen, obviously not a Dortmund type team yet, but when you look at what Xabi did there, at least, they have some excellent talent in that team. So to have the option to buy back a player from that team when we're already short on center backs, I just think that's a great piece of business. Okay. And going to your point about Mark Guehi being the potential number 2, that hinges on whether Konate gets extended or not. If Konate, obviously he has 1 more year, but if Konate doesn't extend, if this deal has truly collapsed, to me, that needs to be talked about more because that's huge. You guys know I'm a big Konate guy. That is a huge loss for us, Steve. We can't let that happen. You have to extend Konate.
If they don't extend Konate, we're in trouble.
Exactly.
There's no doubt about that.
Because you let Quansah go. Say you get Guehi, right? Another thing about Guehi, too, I didn't know that a deal with Newcastle collapsed, right? Remember, I don't know if we were linked with him or maybe their DM. I think it was their DM we were linked with for a while, and they claimed like 70 million. We're like, yeah, no, we're not paying that. But we've been linked with Mark Guehi for a while too. But they valued him at the time at 60 million when he was, working on a deal to Newcastle, and that deal collapsed. And so now the 30 million value that Liverpool are trying to negotiate for him, that kind of looks bad for Newcastle Crystal Palace, because they were trying to negotiate 60 million for him and the deal collapsed. It's interesting. I feel like what I'm getting at is, would you pay more than 30 million for Guehi? Because I wouldn't. I wouldn't pay more than 30 million for Guehi because you just let Quansah go for 30. I think 30 million or 35, let's say, with the add-ons is the absolute most you should pay for Guehi. I don't rate him that highly.
Our friend here, previously Michael Ramsey, says Konate is staying. That's why Rubbish Quansah is gone. I hope that's the case.
That's what you said earlier.
I hope that's the case. And I think it's interesting. Two things to mention. One, are we just like a sister club to Leverkusen now?
I love it. Why not?
Because Quansah goes one way, Wirtz and Frimpong come the other way. I think this transfer rumor is dead, but Harvey Elliott was rumored to be interested, to be on their short list. It's crazy. I love it. I love it. And so the Quansah deal, I love the buyback clause.
Big fan.
Guehi is a $60 million center back, as far as I'm concerned. Just given the market, I don't rate him like super high up there with some of the best center backs in the world, but he's very good. There's no doubt. He's very good. However, there's only 1 year left on his deal. That's what's bringing the value down. If this was a season ago, which there were rumors about Guehi going somewhere for 50, 60, 65 million, even 70 million, I think we were like rumored to be linked with him for somewhere in that 60, 65 range. I think 40 is fine. You know the type of player you're getting. He's got 1 year left on his deal, sure. But like, who's to say he doesn't renew his contract? Nobody knows. At the end of the day, going from Crystal Palace to Newcastle, it's an upgrade, but is it a major upgrade? Probably not. Crystal Palace won a trophy. They're middle of the pack for the most part. And like Newcastle is still not viewed as a staple club for world-class players to go to. So like Tottenham, Chelsea, Newcastle, Liverpool, I believe are the 4 teams in for Guehi. I think we're going to amp up the pressure if we're really interested in him now that Quansah's gone. This could be something that happens very quickly. I would not be surprised if this happened.
Because the other situation, which is what I was reading, he is open to seeing out the final year of his deal and leaving on a free, right? So then the question becomes, do Liverpool revert back to their old ways? I guess old, but traditional ways, where they're okay with waiting a year to get the right player. I don't think this is a situation where you can do that because you just sold Quansah. You have nobody. You have Gomez, Konate, and Van Dijk. You essentially have 2 center backs. Am I missing somebody?
Not that I can think of.
So,
I think in a worst case scenario.
Yeah, fair. I think in this situation, either Guehi happens, right? Or we end up getting someone else. So actually, now that I'm talking about it out loud, I think we push to get this deal done sooner rather than later. I actually think this deal happens within the next week.
If you Google Mark Guehi, it's all Liverpool.
Yeah. I think, but
all you said, the recent news stories.
What did you say? Newcastle, who else were in for him?
Newcastle, Tottenham, and Chelsea is what is a report that I read. However, I mean, do you want to go to Chelsea, dude? Probably not. Newcastle, a big jump up? Not really. Tottenham?
It is. It's not a lateral move, but...
No, but it's not a big jump.
Well, look, you got Tottenham, who won their first, European trophy. You got Chelsea, who secured Champions League football, right? And I think they did.
I think so.
And so it's not as bad as we're making it sound, but I'm with you 100%. Of all the clubs you could choose, if Liverpool are in for you, go to Liverpool, bro. And it's not like you actually have more of a chance of playing at Liverpool.
The decision he makes is the most crucial decision of his career. He's 24 years old.
Sure.
You wait 1 more year max to make a move if you're him at 25. Because once you get into 26, 27, things change from a demand standpoint. He's 24 right now. Come to Liverpool. Let's see what you got.
What are
you going to do? Go rot in Tottenham? Like, yeah, they won a trophy, but they also finished like 15th in the league. Like they're not very good.
Oh, that's rough. That's rough. Let's go over to the chat for a minute, man. Let's see what's up to everyone. I'm scrolling back up a little bit here. Bonkers, Omar. Interesting. So people are bringing up Bajcetic, and I did see something earlier this week or last week about Bajcetic and apparently a permanent move. I can't remember. I think it was Valencia, I believe. A permanent move to Valencia. Let me just quickly get your let's spend a couple minutes on the Bajcetic thing because he's a player I rate really highly. Him and Nioni. very exciting young players. Is he a player you let go during this transfer window? I haven't seen a lot about it, so I don't think it'll happen. But,
I'm looking at it now.
I think it was Valencia is what I saw. They're open to getting him.
I have no idea what's going on with him, to be honest. I do like him, though.
I do like it. It's been very quiet.
It's crazy how certain players shined under Klopp, specifically Elliott, as far as I'm concerned. Bajcetic there for a little while. Dude, Bajcetic was our best player for like 6 weeks at one point.
He was our only option. He was, but you're absolutely right. He absolutely was.
We were in a rough patch. We were in a rough patch, but he can play.
Yeah.
And there's rumors of Endo leaving. And so why wouldn't you keep a guy like Bajcetic around? I think they're very similar players. I mean, Endo's a little bit more solid defensively, but they play a similar role.
So I think this is the issue, and try to understand where I'm coming from here, because I'm speculating on the future. Right now, because of what we've spent this transfer window, everyone's looking at Liverpool as like, yes, this is what we've been wanting you to do. You spend a lot of money, you won the league, you're not resting on that, you're not getting complacent, you're buying better players, okay? If Liverpool continue to sell these players, right? We just sold Quansah. Let's say they sell Harvey Elliott. Let's say they sell Bajcetic, right? All these little pieces. Add those up, you're already at 90 million, maybe even more. You could probably get more for Elliott, so you're probably 100 plus, right? Then we're right back to square one where you're selling to buy. They just did it in the reverse order. They bought the player first, and then they're selling these other players. So I'm not trying to be negative about it, but I'm just saying, right, you do have some gaps to fill, and you actually have an overload of players in the midfield now. Is that what Slot wants? Maybe. Maybe he wants all that freedom to move things around in the midfield. Maybe put Harvey on the right for a little bit, or, Wirtz on the left with Szoboszlai in the middle, and then McAllister. I don't know. But it's a weird situation, because normally Liverpool approached the window with a very conservative way of doing things. You know what I mean? And it seems like I just got this gut feeling we're going to sell a lot of players. I really do. Like, I have a feeling, I haven't heard much on the Harvey Elliott deal in about 3 or 4 weeks, but I have a feeling something's going to happen. I don't see Harvey staying, dude. He's not going to play. I mean, he'll play in the cups though, but I mean, you get 5 subs now. That's a little different. So maybe he gets subbed on for some of those games. But Harvey's at a point in his career now, he doesn't want to do that. Harvey needs game time. He has the skill enough to be starting, and he should be. So you could get 40 or 50 for Harvey. You could probably get more.
You could probably get 40. I think you could probably get 40, and we got him for like $1 million. So it's so here's the thing. I think Wirtz is the purchase of the window. Like, I think that we've determined, the way I'm looking at it is that's a loss, not a loss, but that is money spent. That is not something we're looking to recoup. But I think the Kerkez and the Frimpong deal can be almost canceled out with the Quansah one here, of course. Bajcetic, I think that would make sense, because nobody really sees him in the long-term plans. I mean, he hasn't even played under Slot. You got Robbo, where you could get another 15 mil. Elliott, you could get to the point where your net spend is less than 100 million for this window. Now, the Guehi one makes it tricky, but people in the chat here are mentioning Doak.
Yeah.
You chip away at those players when you're a big club and you have these good players that would shine at smaller clubs. Sometimes you got to just take advantage of that. If they're not going to work out here, if they're not going to play here, I would really hope we'd have a Harvey Elliott buyback clause. Not that buyback clauses ever really go through. Like, who buys their players back? I don't know. Maybe they do sometimes. But I would like a buyback clause with Elliott if he moves on. And he's worth something.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you have Szoboszlai already, you got Jones who can attack. You got Wirtz now. Like, maybe there's no spot for Harvey. And that's fine. But get as much as you can for him, and hopefully put a buyback clause in there.
The players that Liverpool have a very good scouting department, and I think they do really well with young players, and maybe not even developing young players, but at least showcasing their talent enough to get 10, 20, 30 million for them. Quansah is a great example. Quansah, at the beginning of last year, dude, no idea who he was. Really didn't. He just shined, came into the team and shined, and then you get 35 million for him. It's unreal. Ben Doak being worth 15 to 20, that actually blows my mind. But you see the talent in all these young guys. And how often, though, to your point, have any of these guys broken into the team, Steve? And stayed, been a like consistent, aside from maybe Trent and Curtis Jones, who else has broken into the team from the academy and stayed for longer than 2 or 3 years? The rest of them have been sold on. I think that's how they balance their budget. I just think that's the way they do it. Like, they're okay with spending a lot of money, but they sell on players, and they do it a lot to kind of even out the books.
I think a big part of this is Slot's tenure at this point. You're not going to come in and make a ton of moves, or he didn't. At least some managers do, but he didn't. Came in, he inherited this team, made no changes, brought in Chiesa for whatever reason. I think that was maybe if Salah went down or whatever the case may be, but
sure,
he was never going to get game time over Salah in his form this year. But now Slot's been here for a year. He won the league. He's making his changes. He's getting his types of players. He's determined who's going to play, who's going to be here long term, and who's not. And it's very evident with Quansah. Clearly, he's not worried about depth, and they have plans to bring in a replacement at center back because Quansah's gone. And if Wirtz comes in, that pushes Elliott out.
Yep.
So I think the point that Slot's at now, he's been here a year. He has some power. He has some thoughts about the strategy moving forward. And it's exciting. I mean, I always hate to see players go, but if you can trim some of the fat, so to speak, recoup some of what you've spent, it's great.
And there does come a point too where, if the job, and I can't even make this argument because we just won the league, but there comes a point where if you have this backlog of young players that came through the academy and you're not dominating, right? You at some point have to make that big money signing. You have to move the needle somewhat. As much as everyone would like to see, and I'm telling you, the club would love to do this from a business standpoint too, bro. They would, no question, rather all their academy products be superstars and not spend any money than go and buy the best players from a business standpoint, right? And even though we have great players, I mean, regardless of how highly you rate Bajcetic or Nioni or, whoever, I really don't think the long-term plan for the club is to have these guys come into the first team and be stapled on superstars. Like, you really have to prove that you are a world-class superstar to do that. I think the long-term plan is just to sell them. I think that's what we've seen. I mean, I'm really trying to think. I mean, even Jadon Danns, right? When I've seen Jadon Danns play, I'm like, this guy's good. Quansah, I was like, this guy's good. Right? Give me some other players, bro. Bajcetic, this guy's good. Nioni's another one I rate really highly. Why do we only see these guys in like preseason?
Because they're not going to play. We're also forgetting about Nunez and the funds that could come from that. There's so many moving parts. This is the most exciting transfer window by far.
100%. And if another day goes on where I see breaking, Nunez is definitely leaving Liverpool, I'm going to just off myself because that is exhausting. Someone make a move for Nunez. Where's he going?
Yeah, seriously.
Is he the trade? Wait. Did you say this on the show last week, or did you send a text talking about the trade deal where it could be a trade?
The swap deal?
Swap deal. I think you sent
I think that was on the show with Atletico Madrid.
Right, the swap deal.
Yeah, we talked about that. Nunez and Robbo plus 50 mil to get Alvarez. Like, that would be epic.
That would be epic. Groundbreaking deal. That would be kind of crazy.
It'd be perfect. It'd be literally perfect.
Hold on. Let's see. I want to try to decode this sentence. Kyle, you have no talent. I'd if you say they are good. Great.
No
great
talent ID.
Talent ID if you. Who's they, though? Is he talking about the young guys?
About Bajcetic. Yeah.
Yeah. You know they're good. But I love it. I love the contribution here.
No, they're very good footballers, obviously. It's just a matter of, are they good enough? And at this club, probably not.
Yeah, I have, and another thing too, this week, last week it was Atletico, this week it's Napoli. I did see the Napoli thing. Napoli's been linked with Chiesa for a while, but I saw the Nunez thing, man. I know we're going off topic a tad with this, but what's going on with that?
Dude, I have no idea.
Napoli wants 17 million on top of Nunez plus Chiesa. Who are we paying for? They want 17 million on top of Nunez. So we're giving them Nunez and Chiesa plus 17 million for who?
Yeah, this one doesn't make sense. Omar,
is Osimhen still there? Is Osimhen still there?
Lukaku's there. Isn't he?
Dude, I don't even know anymore. Hold on. Is Osimhen there or is he in? I thought he made a transfer.
He went to
I thought he went to
or some shit.
That's what yes, you're absolutely. I knew he went to Galatasaray. Okay, so it's not Osimhen. What a
Lukaku's there.
move.
Lukaku actually had some decent numbers this year.
All right. Let's be real though. Lukaku is the best striker outside of the Premier League. Once he comes back to the Premier League, he's just dog shit. Paying for Osimhen.
Yeah, he's on loan from
Napoli? Okay, that's what it is.
That's crazy that they loaned him. He must really not want to play there. To decide I'm going to go to Turkey on loan is mind-blowing.
To me, that sounds like a locker room issue, Steve.
Dude, that's bad.
I think that's a Osimhen. Look, you're a locker room cancer. We're going to send you to Turkey.
Dude, they just won the league without him.
I know.
Clearly, they don't need him. Napoli.
Well, didn't they win the league with him too? They've won the league like twice now in the last couple of years.
They won it this year, and nope.
This is
they
what
won
he
it
was
2 years ago. Yeah, they had 90 points in 22-23.
So just to decode the sentence from earlier, Napoli want Chiesa also for 17 million. Okay, got it. Get rid of him. See you later.
Yep.
Don't want him. Yeah. Okay. Now, Milos Kerkez, a little bit on this. The deal has been agreed for about 2 or 3 weeks, according to Fabrizio Romano. 40 million. And this means Robbo's on his way out. Does it not?
Yeah, it's either him or Costas, but I would guess it's Robbo.
Yeah, and we talked about this last week. I definitely would bet it's Robbo. So he's going to fly into Liverpool on Tuesday. So we should get, I don't know if that's for a medical or if that's for his actual signing, but yeah, 40 million, no add-ons. Oh, actually, he said yes to the Liverpool project 2 months ago. Let's go.
Yeah, I think his father came out in the media and was like, it's only Liverpool for us.
Exactly.
Fabrizio Romano said that he never opened the door to other clubs.
Another thing that's interesting too, I don't know if this is true because I didn't look it up, but I saw a report that Florian Wirtz's parents negotiated everything. Is that, and apparently his dad or his family is going to get 10 million of the transfer fee. Let me look this up so I don't look like an idiot. Florian Wirtz agent. Father, yeah. Agents are his parents. That's cool, man. I love that.
Very interesting.
I love that because you're not giving away your cash to an agent who really doesn't even care about you. You know, let the family rake in the cake, man. Oyvind, what's going on, man? How hot is it over there in the United States, guys? It's hot. It's very hot.
Yeah, another thing, it's going to be like 95 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit today.
And let me just talk about how soft everyone is right now in the Club World Cup. I saw a picture of Dortmund in the locker room because it was 87 degrees watching the game from the locker room. Sack up. 87, dude. I played double headers in catcher's gear in 107 with Wildfires in North Carolina. And I was fine. Sack up.
I played in the Wildfires.
I was in.
I was inside the fire.
I just, and it's funny because the outlets that are reporting this, they're not here. They're reporting from over there. They're like, oh my God, it's 87 degrees. Like, this is breaking news. It's like, I get your body's not adjusted to it, but that is nothing, dude. That's nothing. And
no, it's really not. Think about the World Cup. Those guys were playing in 110-degree heat.
But it might be dry heat. That might be the difference. Much different in dry heat versus humidity. Now, what was it? Marcos Llorente? I think it was Marcos. There was a player who was like, he was like, yeah, no, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't sprint for longer than, a minute without. When did complaining about the weather become a thing? Like, it's too hot?
I don't know. Would you rather play in the snow, guys?
I mean, I don't know.
87 degrees is literally like an average day,
especially
where you live.
Oh, God.
It's an average day.
And Liz, let alone Liz is in Florida.
It's 87 on Christmas.
Dude, Liz, where's Liz? I know Liz is in here somewhere uphill.
I was actually in Florida for Christmas this year. I've been there a couple times for Christmas over the last few years. It does get chilly. This year it was chilly. The last time I went, probably 3 years ago, it was hot. It was in the 80s, but there was only one day that it hit 80 when I was there in December. It was down in the 50s, 60s.
Hold on. I want to give Liz credit. Liz says, Christian, that's a great take. And I'm looking for Christian here. Looking for Christian's take. Oh, Christian, where are you? Here we go. Osman gives me Balotelli vibes. Ooh. I like that.
Yeah, that I don't want him. Not that we were ever
No, I did. Before he made the move to Napoli, I did want him, though. I really did.
Where was he at before?
Oh, wasn't he at was it Lille? Or God, what team was he at?
The fact that he went on loan to Galatasaray is a riot.
That's wild.
Who's that coach? Is that Mourinho or is he at Fenerbahce? Where's he at?
Oh. Yeah, he was at Roma. Now he's not at Roma. Where's he at? He might be at Galatasaray.
Fenerbahce.
Oh, Fenerbahce. Okay. Kyle Walker just went there.
Kyle Walker went where?
To Fenerbahce, I think. I think he just signed for Fenerbahce.
Where was he at before that?
It's a good question. I don't know.
He went somewhere, didn't he?
Omar says Ibu leaves on a free.
Oh, he went to Milan.
Milan. Okay. Gotcha. So right now, confirmed transfers in. You have Frimpong in, Kerkez, Wirtz, and then do you think the next one in will be Guehi? I can see Guehi being confirmed this week, to be honest with you. I don't see any other center backs being linked, and with Quansah out the door, people have two schools of thought right now. They're saying that means Konate's extending, number one, which would be excellent. But I like your take earlier that really means that Guehi's coming in.
I hope so. So he's on loan from Man City at Milan. Kyle Walker. Reverse. Kyle Walker. And now Everton and Fenerbahce are considering moves. That's what I'm reading.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe I saw Fenerbahce agree to deal or something. I don't know.
Why would he want to play for Everton, though? I don't understand that.
Maybe it's probably more money. Everton could probably pay more. Premier League can always pay more. But yeah, so Guehi coming in next. And another thing, dude, I just kind of want to, we kind of sped through the topic, so let's just kind of chat a little bit. Did you know Mo Salah just had the best Premier League season ever?
Mm-hmm.
I read that this morning because obviously he had a great season, but I'm not looking at the stats in comparison to other players. 29 goals, 18 assists.
Wasn't it tied for the most goal contributions in one season?
I think he beat it by like 6 goals or something.
Mm.
Hold on. It was on Squawka. I was seeing it on Squawka on Twitter.
I think it was the most,
here it is.
Tied for the most in the 38-game year.
All right, hold on. It's literally right here. Okay. Um, Mohamed Salah is the first player to score 25 goals and register 15 assists in a Premier League season. Andy Cole's record of 21 goal involvements away from home was obliterated by Mo. He had 16 goals and 11 assists away from home. Most times a player has scored and assisted in a Premier League game in the competition's history. 42, Wayne Rooney, 36. Mo also holds the record for the most games scored and assisted in during a Premier League campaign, 11. The greatest ever individual season by a player in a 38-game Premier League season. 29 goals, 18 assists in 38 games.
Yeah, it's the 38 game asterisk. Not asterisk, but that's the difference.
Most goals scored by overseas players in Premier League history. Mo Salah just set the record this year, 186. Aguero second at 184, and then Thierry Henry at 175.
Think about, it's insane. How long did he extend for?
It was a 2-year extension, yeah.
He's going to crush all those numbers.
He's not
even a striker. It's crazy, man. The fact that he's over Aguero and he's not even a striker is just absurd.
So when I saw that this morning, and then I looked at his goals over each season. Okay, let me just read it out loud so you can hear it. Maybe it'll, because it didn't sink in for me until I read it. All right, 44 goals, 27 goals, 23 goals, 31 goals, 31 goals, 30, 25, 34. As a winger, Salah is the first player in Liverpool's history to score 20 goals across all competitions in 8 consecutive seasons. This greatness is unmatched. I mean, this is crazy. Think about the players who've played in the Premier League, Steve. Premier, whatever.
I already digested this. I think you're a little late to the party.
I am very late to the party, so just allow me to do it live because I don't know. Sometimes I realize it's happening and I'm so conditioned that he's just going to get 20 goals. I'm like, all right, this is, Mo Salah. We can't do it without him. But then I see it on paper and I see the comparisons. I'm like, this is just remarkable. Unbelievable. Mo Salah is the first player in Premier League history to score or assist in 10-plus consecutive games 3 times. 15 games in 2021, 12 games in 2023, 12 games this past season. 17-18 Golden Boot, 18-19 Golden Boot, 21-22 Golden Boot and Playmaker Award, 24-25 Golden Boot and Playmaker Award. This just keeps going. Oh my God, he's gonna be, he's. I don't want to start this debate now, but he's gonna be up there in the talks with the best goal scorer, the best offensive player, with Thierry Henry, with Didier Drogba. He's already better than those, but I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, you can make the argument for Henry, but after these next 2 years, you won't be able to.
Yeah, wow.
Especially when you consider the positioning.
All right, let's go over to the chat for a little bit. Oh yeah, Steve, you want to touch on this, the T-shirt question, just in case they didn't see it?
Yeah, I think it was Fakito that asked this question. This is a T-shirt from the official LFC Boston Supporters Club. It's actually a pretty nice shirt, but every year they come out with a new one, so this isn't something that you can buy. But green's obviously a big part of the Liverpool colorways, so I'm sure you can find some dark green shirts online somewhere.
Those third kits this year are fire. They're such a nice. I know, I got to get a kit too. I told you the story, right? When I ordered the, I think it was 2 years ago, the third kit was green. And I ordered it, but I moved before it got delivered. And so I never got it. It got delivered to the old house, probably got sent back. Kind of upset, but it was only like $20. So
the green one that was this color?
Yeah, it was more of a, it had a little more teal in it, but it was like a darker green. Yeah.
I have that one.
Yeah.
Or no, I have the one, my Thiago kit. It was the dark green. It was this color with the red-ish.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, I have that one.
Are we thinking about two different kits?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know the green one you're thinking of.
Oyvind says, not that horrible kit. Bro, any green kit they put out, it's clean.
I think you're not talking about like the aqua blue one.
No, God, no.
Which some people would consider like teal, I guess.
Okay, fair enough. Not that one. Good.
I like that one, though.
Yeah, no.
Too flashy for me.
For some reason, all I equate that kit to is Lincoln City. Like, I don't know. That kit, watching them play in the, like, 4th round of the Carabao Cup against Lincoln City, I'm like, oh.
Did we shout out Kenny already?
Kenny G. Shout out Kenny G becoming a YouTube member. Thanks, man.
Shout out Kenny G, the clarinet player as well.
Sure.
Guy's an absolute legend.
Sure.
If you've never heard Kenny G, well, you've definitely heard some of his music before.
In the elevator, maybe
chill,
at the dentist.
Go on YouTube and throw on some Kenny G. He's an absolute savage on the clarinet, Kyle.
Can guarantee Steven has never done that.
Everybody knows Kenny.
Guarantee it.
People will know Kenny G.
No, everyone knows Kenny G. When you say Kenny G, you know it. But yeah. Like, as soon as you said Kenny G, I said, oh, yeah, jazz or saxophone, whatever he plays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, he's got like the long hair. The dude's a savage.
But there's no way you're sitting there in your office and then you go, you know what? Let me throw on some Kenny G.
No.
I can guarantee you're never doing that.
No, I don't do that. But I'm saying, if somebody wants to expose themselves to Kenny G, that's the time to do it, when you're just relaxing.
See, like I knew.
You mentioned in the waiting room. In the waiting room.
Waiting room, dentist, elevator. I knew it. Saxophone is the best instrument. Best instrument. So clean.
Kenny G plays saxophone, it says.
Yeah.
Well, the saxophone he plays, the one that I've seen him play, does not have the big loop at the bottom. So I thought it was a clarinet. But either way, it's very similar.
Yeah, I'm not an instrument guy.
He must play a special type of saxophone that's just a straight. Because you know saxophones are usually like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
I don't know what this thing is.
It's the horn group or brass section. Going back to like 5th grade music class right here. Let's go. Good morning, Mom. Yep. Thanks, Mom, for the hat. I remembered it this morning. I was like, oh, I got to wear that hat. This is nice. Clean hat.
Soprano saxophone.
That's what it is.
Looks like a clarinet.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested, soprano saxophone.
Nothing but sax. This Wirtz signing would remind the older generation of King Kenny. Okay. Let's get it, older generation. If he turns out to be anything like Kenny Dalglish, bro, I think it's a successful signing.
You Guitar Hero guy?
Dude, big Guitar Hero guy. You serious? Big Guitar Hero guy.
You play anything on Expert?
Of course. I couldn't beat the game on Expert, but I did play on Expert. Yeah.
Nobody should be able to beat the game.
First off, I could beat 99% of the game on hard. I couldn't do the Devil Went Down to Georgia on hard and win. I couldn't. It was so difficult, but I could play about 80% of the songs on that game on Expert. Yes.
I could only play like 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's not easy for sure.
No, some dude got 100% through the fire and the flames on Expert with
3x
speed. Yeah.
3x speed. Yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
That was insane.
There was a whole thing about it actually where there was this guy who was famous for doing it and he got caught faking it, where he was like pinning together videos of him playing it and then him hitting the notes, and someone broke down the footage and was able to point out the fact that something was off, and it was very interesting.
Well, it's probably harder to piece it all together, so credit to him. Guy's still a legend.
Saxophones are woodwind instruments. Brass, woodwind, whatever, percussion. It's all the same. It's all the same, right?
Omar says W channel super chill. Yeah, we're going off the rails a little bit, man. There's no drama. Nothing to worry about.
Life is good, bro. Life is so good right now as an LFC fan. Just take it in.
Yep. Liz says, is there a stream of Guitar Hero in our future? I would I wouldn't say no. That would be a members only stream probably.
It would have to be.
And we'd also have to get Guitar Hero because I don't have that anymore.
I would buy that in a heartbeat.
They still have them. Oh, dude, you could go into GameStop right now and there would be one, or Facebook Marketplace, or Craigslist, eBay. It's one of the coolest games of all time.
It's got to be the best, one of the best selling games of all time, and specifically Guitar Hero 3.
Legends of Rock.
Yes, it must be. Kazir, getting us back on track. Whoops. Elliot wants to leave to get more game time. Yeah, we touched on that a little bit earlier. I think Elliot will be gone. GameStop has. Dude, I want to talk about Guitar Hero. You know what? Let's just chat about Guitar Hero for 5 minutes. Okay, Steve. I had it for Wii. Did you ever have it?
Of course.
Okay. So for Wii, you had to put the controller in it, right? You had to put the Wii controller in it, shut it, and then lock in. And what guitar did you have, though? Did you have the white one that you put the stickers on?
No, I just had the black one.
Okay. All right. So I didn't
have like the electric looking one. I had like the regular black one. Guitar Hero 3. I played it on... It was either PlayStation 2 or Xbox 360. My favorite song to play was Block Party Helicopter. It was a bonus song.
Underrated.
Bonus song.
Yep.
It wasn't in the normal track. Just epic. Epic
Underrated.
Stuff.
Helicopter, like, she doesn't like chocolate. Epic song, bro.
It's all right. Yeah, epic.
And then it's like it's like an Australian band, right? It's like
maybe.
Better luck next time.
Yeah.
Dude, all right, Block Party sucked. There's some songs on there that were just way too long. Like, you're playing for like 8 minutes. Like, Story of My Life might be the worst song on that game. Story of My Life.
I don't know. Some of them were boring, like the Santana song, Black Magic Woman, was it?
Oh, I loved Black Magic Woman.
So boring, dude. So boring to play.
See, so Black Magic Woman and Mississippi Queen might be two of my favorite technical or sounding songs, like guitar-wise. Because it's not a lot of rhythm. It's more like a lot of just technical play or technical sound with the guitar. I liked it. It wasn't that difficult.
The best Guitar Hero song of all time, besides Cliffs of Dover, obviously, is probably Sweet Child of Mine, which I think was from Guitar Hero 2.
Oh, sure. Who doesn't like that song?
That's a fun one to play.
Sweet Child of Mine.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend teach me to play that one night on the real guitar, and I could not remember at all any of it now. But I remember he sat there for like 20 minutes with me and just went over the chorus string progression, and I ended up getting it, and it was so satisfying. Because before that, I was just playing like Smoke on the Water and Iron Man and all the basic songs, but Santana's never
Slash is the best. Kazir. He's definitely one of them.
When you chose your character and you chose, I think, couldn't you choose to be Slash?
I think you could unlock him at some point.
I always played with him once I unlocked him.
Santana is never boring. No, he's great music. It's just when you compare it to some of the really fun Guitar Hero songs, it's just not up there for me. But Cliffs of Dover, Eric Johnson.
Cliffs of Dover. Unreal. What about One? Metallica One? Oh,
it's a good one. Yeah, those were all
everything. Can tell you this is true dream.
What was the other one? Slayer, Rain, something.
Oh, yeah, yep, Slayer. Oh, that one was good. Yeah, but then there was the last second to last
Raining
list.
Blood.
Raining Blood.
Raining
Blood. Oh my God, this is great. Yeah, I want to go buy that game right now because I'm in a rut with video games. I just don't find the same joy I do as I used to in the past. Like, I'll play them, but not the same. Maybe I'll go buy Wii Sports or Wii Resort and do the plane. Did you ever do that one?
No.
I flew the plane. You hold the controller like this and fly it and go up and come. Oh, dude, it was awesome. I would go up to where the plane would stall, and then you hit B, and B's like stop, and then just let it fall to the ground.
I didn't play that. I didn't have a Wii, but Wii Tennis was dope.
Wii Tennis was dope. Classic. Wii Golf. Johnny B has met Slash. Let's go. Legendary.
Nice. He's probably not a very fun guy to chat with. Be my guess.
Yeah, you're probably right. He's probably not exactly like, hey, how are you?
Maybe he is.
I don't know. A lot of those guys are just like burnt out from drugs and everything. I feel like it's not ideal, but who knows? You never know. I want to give a quick shout out to everyone in the chat. Liz, of course, has been a member for 54 months. Shout out, Liz. And then, of course, we got the other OGs in here. Oyvind, Tony, Kazir, Ross. Yeah, I haven't
Doug
seen
was
Ross.
In here. Doug, if you're still here, you're the man.
Shout out to Doug. Kenny G, new channel member, shout out him. And then Omar as well. Omar's been here the last couple weeks. I feel like I've seen him. And then I saw Shayna in here recently as well. Shout out to Shayna.
Shayna, Fakito, everybody in here. If you're in here, hit the like button. We would appreciate that. It takes less than 1 second on your end and helps us out quite a bit. Thank you so much.
Yep. And
shout out to your mother.
Yes, absolutely. Shout out to my mom, always supporting the chat. Your mom was probably in here in the first 10 minutes, and then see you later. But
yep.
Exciting transfer window, Steve. I think ultimately Liverpool are trying to cement their place as the top team going into next season. And I think I will feel more confident once we get the center backs in, because with Quansah gone, you got to sign someone. Hopefully Konate extends, and then you sign Guehi. Maybe that'll be good. I don't know. I have to think on it more. I feel like we still need another center back in there, but I've been saying that for like 5 years, and we still continuously go into the year with just 4 center backs. So what other closing?
I mean, you can count Gomez, I guess. But
yeah. What
closing,
are your
closing thoughts? Shout out Kenny G.
Shout out Kenny G.
Soprano sax. Shout out new member Kenny G as well. Not to be confused with the legendary musician, but I'm sure he's legendary as well. And shout out to everybody that was here. Big news, exciting stuff to come. Guehi could become walking in the door any day now. Keep your eyes peeled. And yeah, that's all I got. I appreciate everyone for joining us on this Sunday.
That's all I got. Thanks for being here, guys. Until next week, Reds. Take care.